So back in 2005, I was at university, and when I wasn't in class, I was playing World of Warcraft. And my friends played more than I did, so they leveled up faster than I did, and they did all the big bad dungeons, and I didn't. I actually ended up specializing in creating leather armor for other players and try to sell it to them. Now, how interested are you in learning more about which types of leather armor I created inside that video game? Do you have any interest in that, Tricia?
Not really, no.
Why would you care about a digital bleep blorp, skibbity wibbity blockchain? Nobody cares. That's the nerdiest thing anybody's ever described ever on Earth. Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, what are we doing, Christopher? We are building the world's
biggest
Bitcoin
welcome center
to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. One button on that website. I'm your host, Stuart Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'll be your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus and Bitcoin smash buyer. Whatever you do not miss the chance to enter into our 1 million sats giveaway. All you got to do is head to our YouTube channel, smash the subscribe button, just like I smash buy Bitcoin every time my wife lets me. And when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're only a few hundred away. So
we're running out of time.
We are almost there. When we get to 1,000, we're going to open up a live Friday morning show. It's going to be great on YouTube.
So who do we have in the virtual studio today? It's Tricia. 7 nines. Can you believe that? Number 63, Tricia. Big number. Okay, we work in nines around here, Trish. Number 63, great number.
Yeah.
So Tricia, what does Tricia know? A whole bunch of stuff, including the fact that her husband has got some Bitcoin for the family, but nothing else. So we're going to be talking to Tricia about Bitcoin today. We're going to be answering her Bitcoin questions. We're going to be trying to get her some laser eyes that she can go cut her husband in half with and be like, I'm the big Bitcoiner now. But before we jump into that, Tricia is the founder of T Collective. Help our satillionaires out there get to know you just a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. So like you said, I'm the founder of T Collective. We're a digital marketing and brand storytelling company. So we specialize in marketing and copywriting and campaigns for companies like Gaylord Hotels, Major League Baseball, AARP, and a whole bunch of others. So before T Collective, I was at Marriott and Hilton, so I'm sort of a travel marketing girly, and that's just kind of my favorite place to play around and be creative. And then when I'm not doing that, I obviously have my Bitcoin husband, but we've also got 2 amazing kids, and 2 dogs and 2 cats.
And are they Bitcoin kids and Bitcoin pets, or is it just a one Bitcoin husband?
It's just one Bitcoin husband right now, but I can see my son kind of he's 12. He's kind of heading in that direction.
He's 12?
He's 12, yeah.
Okay, all right. Number 38, Lion, is my son. You're going to jump on Sat Chats YouTube. You're going to go to the playlist, Sat Chats. Find number 38. My son is 12, and in the comments section, there's a kid who goes, yo, there's like a dad. His name's OG Furious. He comments a lot. This guy's kid was like, this episode, now I'm stacking sats. Show that to your boy. Yeah, or you can do Spotify if you're in the car.
Okay.
But you get that to your husband and to your son. They're gonna love it.
All right, excellent. I will do that.
So, how much do you know about Bitcoin?
So I know probably the intro level amount. I know I did watch an intro video. My husband, knowing I was coming on this morning, kind of gave me a little bit of a primer. But that's, I know blockchain and Bitcoin, and those are words that I know now, and that's about it.
Can we absolutely hear what your husband attempted to prime you with?
He made sure I knew what the blockchain was. And when I started to describe it, he made sure I knew very much more specifically. Like, he's a Socratic method guy. So he just asks you questions and then gives you the answer when you get them wrong, which is usually really helpful. So I knew it was a big spreadsheet. I didn't know it wasn't managed by anybody. And we kind of got into a little bit of that.
And by the way, I'm trying to determine whether you actually like the Socratic method or whether that's annoying.
It really depends on the day. Today it was helpful because I needed it. But yeah, sometimes it's
okay. Yeah, because I'm a Socratic method guy. So I'm like, I got to do I need to switch it up for Tricia?
I'll give you a pass this morning because we just met, so it'll be fine.
All right. So he described the blockchain as a spreadsheet?
I described it as a spreadsheet, and he didn't correct me. So that's where we left it.
God, I love that. What else did he say about Bitcoin for you today before you got on the show?
That was kind of it. I think he was relying on me to prepare myself, and he just wanted to get on with his day. So I was like, cool, we'll do that.
Well, I mean, the good news is there's nothing to prepare, right? I mean, this show is for beginners, and simply having your own experience and your own memories and your own expertise, you're prepared for the show. And we're trying to tell everybody out there just to come on the show. Because, I don't know. I said, I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I'm like, exactly. Come on the show.
Yep.
Okay. Literally, you're perfect. So when did your husband first stack Bitcoin?
Several or many years ago, and I don't know exactly when, but he's always been an early adopter, and he's a tech guy. And so, once it was there, he just likes to explore the things that are, new in the world.
Okay. Is he buying it regularly? Is he kind of like dollar cost averaging every week or every month? Did he smash a bunch back in the day and now it's sitting there? Like, do you even know?
I don't even know, but I do believe it's just sitting there. He's much more focused on stocks and, other real estate, all those kinds of things. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So we got to get your husband on the show to be like, hey man, you need to knock it off. Get your head back in the game. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Stocks and real estate? So what questions, I guess, how about this? What is holding you back from stacking your first sats?
So that's a good question. So as I was thinking about this today, I'm kind of approaching it the way I approach any marketing project for a client, where I want to know a lot about the background, why it was created, who it was intended for. But also specifically, I think the thing that's holding me back and the thing I really want to dig into is, why is it struggling so hard to go mainstream? Why is it still sort of, the impression I get is that it's still sort of like a tech bro thing. And the average person isn't buying into it yet or finding it to be a thing that's accessible to them yet. And when I do read about it, it's supposed to be something that's accessible to everybody. And so does it just have bad PR and marketing? Why is it not getting sort of the reach and the engagement that you all think it should?
Such a good question.
Yeah, I really like that.
Great topic, right?
Yeah. So how come Bitcoin has not caught on in the mainstream yet?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
quick question, has it?
Well, that's kind of where it's like, how do you define I would argue that each year Bitcoin has gotten incrementally more mainstream, as anything does in its awareness life cycle. Some recent things that have happened in the last 18 months, Wall Street adopted Bitcoin in their issuance of ETFs. We've got an administration right now that's very Bitcoin and crypto heavy, focused, accepting. Senator Cynthia Loomis, for example, you can look her up. She's really advocating hardcore in Washington for Bitcoin strategic reserve and the strategic. No. What's the fund the sovereign wealth fund for the United States that'll invest heavily in Bitcoin. So, I mean, there have been some recent major big steps forward, but what are the forces that hold Bitcoin back, I think, is really the question. And just like anything, I would say it's the status quo. It's the way things have always been and the way things have always been done. And the people who are in control of that and want to continue seeing things being done the way they've always done. Like, you know how it is, right? When you're selling something or you're trying to market or bring awareness around this new idea, your biggest competitor is always going to be, well, what are people doing right now? Because it's really hard to get people to change. So, and I think a really interesting example that I could give, and Stuart, I'm interested to hear you kind of give your thoughts too, but if you look at the countries around the world that are experiencing the most monetary pain, meaning like their inflation rates are going off the charts, like their money is being debased faster than anywhere else, those are the countries that typically are adopting this new form of digital decentralized currency that we call Bitcoin the fastest, because they're in the most pain, because the status quo is not working for them. It's a problem that they have to solve. Here in the US, like, you may have heard 8-12 months ago the term, the soft landing of the economy. Like, we're very good and we have all of these levers that we can pull, whether it's the Federal Reserve or the Treasury Department, to manipulate and control things like inflation, things like interest rates. Like, we've got all these, so we can soft land, we can do quantitative easing, and plus the world is dollarized, right? So like the dollar is the global currency. So most people are like, what's wrong with that? Dollars are great. It's the world's currency. I mean, if you were using South African rand, you're coming at this whole thing from a little bit of a different angle. So that's, I think, one major thing that has held Bitcoin back. But then what I want to finish with actually is, if you look at the adoption rate of something like the internet or email or any other technology over the last couple of decades, you would actually see a much faster ramp up for Bitcoin versus technologies that have come before it over the last 20, 30 years. So it's arguable, right? Like, is it taking a long time relative to other technology to catch on with the mainstream? I think it depends on how you look at it. But those are some of my thoughts. What do you think, Stuart?
Well, let's stop right there, Tricia. How invigorating was that for you just now?
That was interesting because I hadn't actually thought about it that way before, but I will note that, like, as you were talking, I was thinking about other technologies, and so I'm curious as to how then you compare it to sort of the ramp of AI, because that seems to be really steep. Like, it came out and now it's ubiquitous, whereas, I'm sure, yes, email and the internet kind of took a little bit longer, but it just feels like we're in this zone of tech does have have more steep ramps lately. Like, things catch on faster, and so how would you sort of compare what Bitcoin is facing to how fast AI sort of overtook everything and now is kind of everywhere?
Well, I think one key difference between AI and Bitcoin is that AI and the growth curve of AI is centralized. There's OpenAI. There are a handful of companies that have these massive war chests of dollars that they can dump into huge campaigns, huge awareness pushes, huge adoption pushes of their tech. So AI has this privatized, centralized, commercial world behind it, like pushing it. Bitcoin, one of the things that makes it so valuable and so unique is just like the internet, no one really owns it. It's decentralized. So it kind of has to its adoption rate and its growth curve is more organic. It's like owned and earned versus paid. So that I thought you would understand that as an ad person, especially. But
Yep, that makes sense.
I want to hear Stuart's reaction here because
Well, try. So here's what I'll say. Why hasn't Bitcoin taken off? Okay, compared to AI. Let's go back to that for a second. So back in 2005, I was at university. And when I wasn't in class, I was playing an online game called World of Warcraft. This is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Okay? I'm sure your son plays video games, right?
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Now, here I am on this. Here I am. I picked a Tauren hunter. It's like a big bison that stands on two legs, and I would go around completing quests. And my friends played more than I did, so they leveled up faster than I did, and they did all the big bad dungeons, and I didn't. And so I actually ended up specializing in creating leather armor for other players. And I would sit there and make leather armor and try to sell it to them. Now, how interested are you in learning more about which types of leather armor I created inside that video game?
0.
Do you have any interest in that, Tricia?
Not really, no.
Well, there's your answer.
Nerd.
There's your answer. Why would you care about a digital bleep blorp that's inside a skibbity wibbity blockchain, a scribbity webbity nerdy? Nobody cares. Ain't nobody care. That's the nerdiest thing anybody's ever described ever on Earth. So why would Tricia, who is a red-blooded lady in America, be like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go down into the basements where the unwashed masses are clicking away on a computer and be like, wee, numbers.
The unwashed masses?
Come on. Hey, it's like, yo, you need a shower, dude.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, these I mean, so there, who wants to learn about that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
So then so then this is where in this kind of conversation, and if this was like a project, I would take a step back and be like, okay, well, what is the goal of Bitcoin? What is it? Why does it exist? What is it trying to do? What does it want its audience to achieve with it?
Okay.
Direct answer to that question. Let's see what.
Yeah, I got an angle on this.
All right, let's go.
Let's flip it back on you, Tricia, because we want to make this ad campaign personalized. What do you want to achieve in your life? What are your long-term goals? What do you want?
I want security for my family, for my kids to be able to do what they want in life without worrying too much. And I want the world to be on a good track and sort of having people care about each other and take care of each other.
So security for your family. And one aspect of that is financial security. Having enough for yourself and for your Bitcoin husband, but also having enough for your kids, right? And I'm sure having enough for your kids' kids. You want to be able to pass down a little bit, right? 2 generations down, right? And what is that? That's generational wealth, isn't it?
Yes.
You also want the world to be on a good track, not one where we're tearing each other apart, zero-sum game. For me to win, you got to lose. I got to make money at all costs, so I'm going to destroy this swamp. I'm gonna straight top this mountain. I'm gonna mountain top this thing. I'm not even gonna dig for the coal anymore. I'm just gonna blast it out of the earth. All that stuff. That's what you want.
Yes, sir. Yep.
What if I told you that this unwashed, smelly armpit World of Warcraft piece of leather armor was the key to those things?
So tell me more. How is it the key? And I'm sounding really skeptical. I'm not skeptical.
No.
I'm just super curious. Yeah.
So how is it the key? All right. So let's talk first about this concept of financial security and generational wealth. What's your money today, Tricia?
What's my money?
What money do you use?
Dollars.
The US dollar.
US dollar.
Okay. And when were you growing up? The 2000s?
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s. Let's go. 90s kid right here.
Same.
Can I just say a quick shout out BK Kids Club? Y'all remember the BK Kids Club?
I do. Yeah.
The dude with the remote, and then there was the dude in the wheelchair. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And yeah. So can you remember buying stuff in the 90s? Like buying an Airhead at the movie theater, you know what I mean? Or going to Burger King. I mean, going to the mall. I remember going to the mall in the 90s. Like, do you remember
was like $10, $5?
Do you remember
$10.
like being a kid and your mom or dad's like, here's $20? You're like, oh my God, I have an infinite amount of money to go spend.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How much $20 get you today, girl?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I got to pay $20 in convenience fees just to buy my movie tickets online. I'm like, what? Why do I have to pay a convenience fee for making it more convenient for me to buy tickets from you? There's no humans involved. What is the online convenience fee?
Yeah. Yep.
It's convenient for them to charge it. That's why it's a convenience fee.
Yeah.
So $20 doesn't get you nothing, but it used to get you a ton. And why does it not get you anything anymore?
Inflation.
And what causes inflation?
It's complicated, right? There's like lots of no.
Well, that's what they want you. That's what they want you to think. They're like, oh, well, things are getting more expensive. Oh, gotta raise them rates. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's just the price of what we bought was more expensive, so we got to charge you more. Oh, hey, 9/11, you know what I mean? War on terror. So oil, gas, COVID, supply chains, financial, y'all, it's complicated. But you just gotta pay more, right? That's what they want you to think. But what is the real reason, Chris?
Inflation happens when we print more money.
That's it. That is literally it. That is the singular and only reason for inflation. And what have they been doing since the 90s?
Yes, and printing more money.
Printing more money. And what's the money even based on? How come, what gives us the right to print that money? Nothing. The government's just like, just do it. Just do it. Because the government has a $6 trillion budget this year, and they're going to collect $4 trillion in our taxes, which leaves a $2 trillion gap. Imagine if your husband was like, yeah, we got a $600,000 budget this year, babe, but we're only going to make $400,000. How would you react to that?
That's a problem. That's a really, really big problem.
You'd be like, McFly, think McFly. That it won't work. That doesn't work. But for the government, it works. But what actually happens is it just means that your money buys less and less and less and less. Because think about it like this, Trish. Let's say the US dollar network is this big, okay? And you and your hubs, your share is this big, right over here, this guy, okay? But then they just go, well, you know what? We spent too much dang money, so now we're just going to print this much more. Well, your share is still this much, isn't it? But now this much is less. It's a smaller part of this network than it was here. Okay? So they print for free what you and I have to work for. We're taking time away from our kids to go make something that they made for free. It's ridiculous. Now, let's compare that to Bitcoin. Can you tell? Did your hubs tell you, prime you with how much Bitcoin there is?
I actually watched one of your guys' previous episodes, so I know that it's the number 21 million. I don't know. There's a fixed amount, though, right?
Oh, you got believe in yourself. 21
million.
Got it. 21 million. Okay. Yes, 21 million Bitcoin. There are 21 million Bitcoin. It breaks down into 100 million Satoshis or Sats per Bitcoin, which equals 2.1 quadrillion units of money for the whole world to use. Okay. And by the way, the whole world is only worth 900 trillion. So there's more than twice as many units of money as there is need for money in today's world. But what that means is if the Bitcoin network is this big and your share is this big, that's going to be the size of your share, period. Because it's not going this way. It stays. So what does that mean? It means that if you were to work and earn in US dollars and you're putting them away for your kids and your kids' kids, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to pass down $200,000 to my kids. By the time you do it, that will be the cost of the convenience fee for your movie tickets, right? It's going to cost you so much blood and sweat and tears to make that much money. But by the time they go to spend it, it won't barely get them anything. Think about when we were in the 90s, like, man, if I could just be a millionaire, I'd have infinite money if I were a millionaire. Think about millionaires today. They're like, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can barely make ends meet. It's insane. So in Bitcoin, not only two things are going on here, Tricia. Number one, your share is not getting smaller. So at the absolute worst, your Bitcoin is going to buy the same amount of stuff. The Bitcoin you stack up today, the sats that you stack up today are going to buy you the same amount of stuff later. So if 20,000 sats gets you movie tickets today, 20,000 sats will get you movie tickets with your grandkids. But it's actually going to be even better than that, because through a process we don't need to get into today, your Bitcoin is going to buy you more and more and more and more over time. Because as the world makes more and more and more, and AI makes things cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and advances in technology and flying cars and laser guns, space travel, teleportation, okay? What that means is your Bitcoin is always going to be able to buy your fair share of the whole world's awesomeness. But as the whole world's awesomeness gets more and more and more, your percentage of that stays the same, which just means you get to get more and more and more and more. And here's a good example of that, Tricia. In 2014, my house cost $200,000. Today, it costs $400,000. So I need twice as many US dollars to buy the same house. People are like, hey, what do you mean? That's great. Your home doubled in value. No, it didn't. Okay. It's the same house, but I need twice as much money to buy it. Outrageous. Okay. My house 2014 took the same amount of gold to buy today. That's not so bad, actually. I could buy my same house with like 600 ounces of gold. I could buy it with 600 ounces of gold today. Okay, gold. Gold is as good as gold. I like gold. Bitcoin cost 500 Bitcoin to buy my house 2014. Costs 5 Bitcoin to buy my house in 2024, which means you need 99% less Bitcoin to buy the house. And that's what I mean by your Bitcoin is going to buy you more and more and more and more, right? Pocket money today, Tricia, is rocket money tomorrow.
I like that. That's a good slogan.
Okay. So let's stop there. Let's take your feelings. How do you feel?
I still don't know that I fully understand how that's going to work, but I think that the first question I keep coming back, because then now I'm going to like a really practical place. Like, okay, I get that, but like, can you actually pay for a house in Bitcoin today? Like, how is it going? Like, I don't see it as a method of payment, and I'm not super savvy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But like, can you actually buy real world things with Bitcoin?
Did y'all buy your house outside DC?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you buy it with?
A loan and money.
A loan?
Yeah.
And so the loan, what was the loan? Was that some numbers that went into a bank account?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then did you just transfer the numbers to another account?
Yes.
Okay. So did you buy your house with cash?
No.
So can you buy anything with cash? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love US dollars. I don't quite get how it's going to work in the long run, but like, can you use cash today to buy stuff? You know what I mean? Who really uses cash? I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
right? You're just tapping to pay or you're moving numbers around, right? I don't know if we really use US dollars literally. Like you didn't hand it like, okay, here's $400,000 in actual slips of paper.
Right.
So with Bitcoin, all we want you to do is recognize that Bitcoin is going to protect you and it's going to give you financial security because the government can't print more of it while you're asleep, right? And if the government wants it, they got to work for it, same as you. Now, you buy stuff on your credit card, I'm sure, right? Do you charge most things to your credit card? Cool. Keep rolling, right? Because the credit card is the most widely available thing that we buy stuff with today, right? One day you're going to be tapping to pay with Bitcoin and it's going to be juicy and you're going to love your life, but we're not really there yet. If you're like a Bitcoin guy like me, you are, but in today's world, no. So you keep using your credit card, okay? Once a month when it's time to pay your bills, you take your Bitcoin, you exchange it for US dollars, and then you pay off your credit card with the US dollars. But here's the trick. The money you've put into Bitcoin is protected until the moment you need it, right? Because let's say you put dollars aside in, what month is it this month? May?
Yep.
All right. And you're like, I want a 3-month emergency fund, right? I want financial security. So here, I'm going to put money aside in May. And then May happens, the government prints $1 trillion more dollars. June happens, the government prints $1 trillion more dollars. July happens, the government prints $1 trillion more dollars. And then you go to pay your credit card in the 3rd month with the money you had here. This money is worth less and you need more of it to pay off your stuff now. So instead, you put it in Bitcoin. You say, hey, you can't get at me. All right. And then you just convert it in, right? So Bitcoin is a way to protect you and your family from the fact that your US dollar doesn't, I mean, literally every second it's buying you less and less and less and less.
Okay.
So don't get hung up on the fact that you can't go to the grocery store and say, okay, here's some Bitcoin for my food, right? Because you're using your credit card anyways. And then once a month, you move money from your bank account to your credit card. If you could just add one more step in and go from Bitcoin to a bank account to your credit card, you have the option to make sure that the money you're setting aside to save for your family today and tomorrow and for your grandkids does not melt away in the face of more and more and more inflation, inflation.
Okay. Okay, I'm with you. So it's like Bitcoin is like a special secret safety box that you're just keeping it in until you need it.
Yeah. So here's a great example, Tricia. I started buying Bitcoin last year. And that was back when I was still saying buying Bitcoin because I thought I was buying something. I didn't realize I was exchanging my money for a money that was better. Like when you flip over dollars for euros because you're in Paris. I didn't realize Bitcoin was money. I thought it was like an asset. I thought it was like a thing, like a stock or a real estate. Because it's such good money that we're like, oh, this must be like an investment, guys. It's just money. So I started exchanging my flimsy old, scrubby old slips of paper for Bitcoin. And over the past year, it's gone up 50%. 50%, which means that everything I buy today with the money I saved last year is half off. It's half off. And with prices going up and up and up, don't you want things to be on sale?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one way you can do it.
Okay.
So if I were to ask you to take a look at your family's finances, sit down with your Bitcoin husband and say, look, what if we budgeted for $50 a month? Do you think we could buy $50 worth of Bitcoin a month? That's not our whole savings, okay? But I don't know everything about Bitcoin yet. The dude with the sunglasses talking about smelly guys in a basement. I don't know. He's talking about something about war to war. We don't even know. And he's talking about shadow daddies, and it was way off topic. But we just want to put a little bit, like, hey, Hubs, do you want to just like start putting a little bit in each month, kind of like an alternate savings account, and we'll just see if it goes to the moon or not? Would you be willing to start that experiment with your husband?
I think I'm closer now than I was when you started.
Right, because what does $50 get you today? One trip for 4 through Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
One?
Barely.
What? And the dang food is melting as they're giving it to you, man. My wife, we went through Chick-fil-A the other day. She's like, well, let's drive home before we eat it. And I got enraged. I was like, it's going bad right now. I was like, no, we're gonna exit the drive-through. We're just gonna park. We're gonna eat it right here in the parking lot.
Peak value.
Yeah.
Also
the US dollar is like some Chick-fil-A fast food. It's going bad the minute you get it. It's literally deteriorating the minute you get it.
Old soggy dollars.
Oh, golly. So what does $50 get you? One dang fast food meal today?
Yeah.
So is it that hard to set aside $50 and be like, well, we don't know everything about Bitcoin yet. I know my husband has it. I know a little bit more about it now. But, we don't know enough to just be like, yes, we're going to go get Bitcoin laser eyes, but we could do $50 a month. Do you think you could do $50 a month in Bitcoin?
I think we probably could.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, or let me tell you this real quick. Okay. This might help lock it in for you. So they took a 5-year period, Tricia. It might have been 2019 to 2024. I don't know. Might have been 2017 to 2022. I can't remember. It was a recent 5-year period. And they said, we're going to experiment with 3 different savings vehicles: US dollars, gold, Bitcoin. Each month, we're going to buy $50 worth of these items and we're going to store it. So $50 in savings each month over 12 months is $600, and they did it for 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, they had $3,000 in their savings account. They did the same thing with gold. But as gold was going along, its value was increasing, so that by the end of the 5 years, that $3,000 worth of gold was now $6,000.
Its value wasn't increasing. The value of the dollar was going. Its value was increasing in dollar terms.
Yeah.
It was still gold, but
gold was gold, and gold never went anywhere. And actually, it was the dollar that was terrible.
Yeah.
So
3,000. What's the gold worth?
6,000.
6,000 for gold.
So gold doubled. Seems pretty juicy, right? Bitcoin, $250,000. Bitcoin, $250,000 for $50 a month? Huh? Who in their right mind would not do that?
So then why aren't more people doing that? Is that just that people don't know that that's, like we talked about before, like there's no marketing campaign behind Bitcoin, that people just don't know that that's...
People just don't know. People just don't know. And the premise of this show, Tricia, is that every single person on earth is only one conversation away from stacking their first sats. All they need is one-on-one conversation where they can ask and answer, right? Listen and speak, and then they'll get it. And we guarantee it, right? Because once you start thinking about this, you can't unsee what you've seen. So Bitcoin has no CEO. Bitcoin is not a company. Bitcoin has no marketing department. Does gold have a CEO? Does gold have a marketing department? No. But everybody knows gold is as good as gold because it has been as good as gold for thousands of years. Now, the US dollar has a massive machine behind it to the point where we can only think in those terms. You and I can only think of money as dollars. That's how good they are at selling their option to you. But Bitcoin is just puttering away on the internet. You can't change me. You can't do anything to me.
I don't care how fast I grow.
Nothing.
Ego.
Nothing.
Whatever.
Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So people just don't know yet, right? And that's it. That's it. And to your point, that technology adoption curve, it's going like this, it's going like this, and it's going to go like this. It's going to go straight up. As soon as America is like, yeah, okay, we're going to start buying Bitcoin, watch, right? So it'll skyrocket, but you can get started now. All right. Now, how is Bitcoin going to put the world on a track? How is Bitcoin going to get 8 billion people no longer acting selfishly, but in fact in service of one another? 8 billion people in service of 8 billion people. Beautiful. Every single human incentivized to do the right thing every single time, whether someone is looking or not. No cheating, no shortcutting, doing the work, no scamming, all that. How's Bitcoin to do that? Well, we are not going to fit everything there is to know about Bitcoin into one chat about sats, Tricia.
Oh, man.
That is why we ask each of our guests if they'd be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Did you start stacking $50 a month with your Bitcoin husband? Have you learned more? What questions do you have now? It's time to treat how Bitcoin is going to fix the world. Would you be willing to come back on in 9 months for us, Trish?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's go. Because guess what? You ain't going to believe how Bitcoin fixes the world, but it does. So we're going to make you, we believe in Bitcoin so dadgum much that we are willing to do your first month for you. We are willing to do the month of May for you. And then you can go put on number 38 Lion. You can go looking through our videos. Every single one is titled as a question. So whatever questions you have, you find the question, you watch that video, and you keep learning. And then when May comes around, that's your decision if you want to keep stacking. But we'll do it for you. But before we do, let's rip on some of that.
Yeah, we don't like to make any big financial decisions on an empty stomach. So now we're going to take a little break for our sponsor, Ithaca Hummus. And we have selected the black bean flavor to taste on your behalf here in the studio today. Have you ever heard of Ithaca Hummus before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Have you ever had it?
I'm sure that I have because I love hummus. I eat hummus every single day. It's not in my fridge right now, though, so I'll have to go look for it.
Cool.
So if you eat hummus every day and you've had Ithaca Hummus before, how could you possibly have any other brand of hummus in your fridge?
That's a good question. I don't find it always at my grocery store.
Oh, where do you shop?
Harris Teeter.
The Teet.
It's
okay.
There. It's there.
It's got to be there.
All right. I'll go today. I'll go looking.
All right. I'm going to get a fat glob here because I'm going to serve as your taste buds here in the studio.
Oh, man. This is my favorite right here.
All right. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
Real good batch.
So it's like, it has a slightly different texture from your other hummuses.
Yeah.
All your hummuses are thick. Ithaca, Tricia. Not Ithena. Ithaca. But it's like a little bit more, I don't know. I mean, every tub is substantial as well. It really fills you up. It feels great. This feels like even heartier, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we put jalapenos in this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously got the black beans, and the skin of a black bean is a little bit it's more fibrous, I guess you could say, than a skin of a chickpea.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gives it a little bit of a bulkier texture. But I mean, that tastes like taco dip.
Yeah.
The best way I could describe that is taco dip.
Yeah.
If you like taco night, Taco Tuesdays, is Tuesday's your favorite day because of Taco Tuesday? You got to get the black bean because this is like taco night in a tub.
I could go soft tortilla, Tricia. Okay. Then little slather of that black bean on the bottom. Then the ground beef on top, and it kind of like drops into the hummus and stays in place. Then your lettuce, tomato, cheese, whatever you need.
So good.
Right?
Power lunch.
Because Taco Bell back in the 90s, Tricia, remember the Mexican pizza back when it was worth something? It had the dang tomatoes, the black olives. It had like the green onions on top.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That makes it. Now today it's like, ooh, what is this thing? This dirty Fiat Mexican pizza.
Ugh.
So do us a fave, Trish. Go to the TT, grab some black bean, crunch into it, and then come back to the comment section of your show on YouTube. Tell us what you think about it.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll do that.
Now here comes the momentum de la vérité.
All right. So like we mentioned, we want to make you an offer. We believe in value for value here on the Sat Chats show. So we are going to offer a small token of our appreciation in the form of a choice for you. And you've got $50 in USD here or $50 in Bitcoin.
So let's go UTX Oracle.
Okay.
Because that is the true price of Bitcoin, 99384. Okay. One Bitcoin is worth $99,384. We're going to give her 50 bilks worth.
Yeah.
So pop in 50. Divide 99384.
50 divided by 99384 gives you 50,309 Satoshis.
Ooh.
Or $50.
There we go.
What's it going to be?
I'll take the Bitcoin.
I'll take the Bitcoin. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I can relax now.
Yeah, get that. Dude, somebody can get some Chick-fil-A with that thing because it's going to evaporate.
They better hurry.
Oh my gosh, dude. It already costs more than $50 since we started talking about it. So 50,309 sats for Tricia. And when you do the math, Tricia, and you take 21 million Bitcoin, you divide it by 8 billion people, it means that your fair share of the Bitcoin network is 250,000 sats. So after 5 months of stacking sats, you've already got your fair share of the entire Bitcoin network, and you can just start going, we want everyone to become a satillionaire on this show. That's why we use that term. We want you to have 1 million sats, which is 0.01 Bitcoin. But just, it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. Okay. So you bring our score, and thank you so much for being a multiple of 9 that chose Bitcoin, for goodness sakes. You bring our score to 58 guests who have chosen to stack their sats, and 5 who need a little bit more time. Where can we go to interact with you on the internet? If we want to find that T Collective, or if we want to find you personally, where can our satillionaires go?
Yeah, I am at withtcollective.com. And then I'm on LinkedIn as Patricia Merchandani.
Okay, excellent. And we'll put those links in the show notes. So this is the part of the show where we ask you, satillionaires, for your value in exchange for ours. Just like we hooked Tricia up with over 50,000 sats in exchange for her time and for her energy, we want something from you all in exchange for ours. And what are they? There are 2 things. Number 1, YouTube subscriptions. When we get to 999 plus 1 subscriptions, okay, we are going to choose one from among you and drop 1 million sats on your head. That's 20 times what we just gave Patricia, right? Is Tricia short for Patricia, or did I just mess that up?
Yeah.
Nope, you didn't get it. That's what it is. Yep.
I had to use the full name on the million sats. We're also so do not be subscriber number 999 plus 2. That would hurt.
1,001 would suck.
Now, we're also going to unlock a live show Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to jump onto YouTube as a big old family of Satillionaires, and we're going to chat about Sats Live. We're also on the road to number 99. Kristen, my wife, I feel like this conversation with number 63, Tricia, was nice.
Yeah.
And that's helping me train in my expected environment. Wife of a Bitcoin husband who needs to learn more before she gets comfortable. I mean, just beautiful. So thank you for helping me train, because I want my wife to let me buy a bunch of Bitcoin too. We also need them watch hours, y'all. Okay. Get that YouTube Sat Chats playlist rolling. Just leave it, dude. Just leave it. Let us use your computer to mine watch hours the same way people take over computers to mine Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah. We need to mine them watch hours. All right. Tricia, just put the playlist on in the background, then go shopping. All right. Because we need them watch hours. So a couple of extra ways to support the show. You can zap us your sats on the Lightning Network, satchats@getalby.com. Huge shout out to whichever among you Satillionaires zapped us 21,000 sats. You are the first person to do so. Whoever you are, you know who you are, and you are awesome. You can also send us your Bitcoin on chain to the address in the show notes. My dad, number 18, already did it. You got there first, but you could be number 2. Mm-hmm. And you can come on the show, satchats.com. Like I said, the website has one button. All right, everybody. So Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. See you tomorrow.